Brandon.
Okay, by now everyone has seen Will Smith smacking Chris Rock last night at the Oscars. Of course, nobody saw it live because nobody watches that garbage live, especially any of us. I know none of us watched it live. The only reason why I knew about it, just like all of you guys, is because it consumed our social media feeds as we woke up this morning, and it was on every single post. So, of course, I went and looked at it because I was like, what went down? First thing I'm going to say is, it was real. That was not staged. That was not fake. That was real. Now, events leading up to it, I don't know. Maybe they wanted to stage that. Maybe it was planned. Maybe they wanted to create a little bit of division or a little bit of controversy by doing this. But the actual act that took place, that was real. Chris Rock was not expecting to get smacked. If you go back and look, you can see Will Smith at the time of the joke is laughing at the joke. But his wife, she ain't laughing. And she has been the one wearing the pants in that relationship the entire time. Let's not forget that this woman has been sleeping around on Will, and Will Smith has just been forced to deal with it. Basically coming out and saying, we have an open marriage. It's kind of funny how it's open on one side only, but Will Smith has been dealing with these demons inside. Let's not forget that his son runs around in dresses, and he can't say anything about that either. So there's some baggage that Will has been forced to deal with on his own. In other words, he's pretty much compartmentalizing all of this rage in there, but he's still giving off this persona of some big tough guy in his movies. Well, this was that point where you saw Jada not happy, and Will thought the joke was funny until she probably reminded him. Notice the camera switches off and goes back to Rock, and we don't see what happened until Smith is finally heading up there. So he goes from being totally happy to being enraged. I guarantee you all the stuff that Will has been holding inside came out at that moment, because now everybody in this whole room has been snickering and laughing at him behind his back for a few years now, and now there's a joke right in his face, and his wife is not happy, who he's supposed to really, 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 really love, which he probably does. And I think he snapped. The man went up there, you can see by his gait when he's walking, he's not happy, he's not going up there to shake the man's hand. Chris Rock, on the other hand, is thinking, I think that there's going to be a verbal exchange, and he's going to make fun of it and throw some jokes back and forth to Will over the whole thing, and this is going to be one of those impromptu moments that's just funny on TV. Wasn't expecting to get smacked, put that chin out there and everything, and get popped. And then you see Will Smith sitting back in his chair, the rage in his eyes and the rage in his voice. Especially when he says it the second time. There is rage in this man. And you can see after that Chris Rock is discombobulated. The man is shaken. He doesn't really know what to say. He's messing up what he's supposed to say next. He was rattled. This was a real occurrence. Now, let's look at, was it acceptable or not? I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care if you're defending your wife's honor or not. This was not the place to do it. You have to consider the setting. And let's look at this, the overall setting. This is a controlled environment. This is an award ceremony where you hired a comedian to host it. In the past, and every other time there's been a comedian, even a non-comedian, everybody in that audience is fair game. They're all fair game. Everyone can be and is made fun of at various times during that show. They pick moments to pick on people all throughout the crowd. It's always happened. This is not the first show where a host made some fun of somebody standing out in the crowd. It happens all the time. So just like we always preach to ourselves as responsible gun owners, be careful of where you go. Don't put yourself in a situation where something may happen that you lose control of. Same goes for right here. If Will Smith was not prepared to take the jokes about his wife and about him potentially being okay with his wife sleeping around on him, he shouldn't have gone. He simply should not have gone to it. He put himself in a situation where he knew he could have been picked on, he got picked on, and he lost it after he got called out by his wife for not defending her. Will put himself in that position. I don't like Chris Rock. Never have liked Chris Rock. I don't think the man's funny. I think he's a racist. But at the same time, he did not deserve that. He was given the green light, and is given the green light every single time he hosts something, that everybody in that audience is fair game. And everybody in the audience knows that too. This should not have happened to Chris Rock. Now, had this been at a bar, right? Had this been at a bar, it would have been a totally different story, because it's not a controlled environment. Everybody in the bar or restaurant is not fair game. That's simply one guy picking on another guy's wife. And even though it still would have been assault, just like it was in this case, if Will Smith had gotten up after this other guy, Chris Rock, made fun of his wife being bald and walked across the room and smacked him like that, the cops might have let him go. Now, Chris Rock, in that case, would have definitely pressed charges. And I still think Chris Rock is going to press charges because he's looking very, very shameful here this morning. But in that instance, it's possible because Chris Rock started the argument in a bar or restaurant type setting that Will Smith might have gotten off. Again, I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying that it's okay. I would not have put myself in that same situation. I probably would have just left. But in the setting of this theater or wherever they hold these awards, to me, Will's reaction was unacceptable because, again, he knew what had the potential of happening there. He walked right into it and he fell for it in all the wrong ways. Now, the reason why I have a real problem with this is the fact that here we go normalizing assault. I know it sounds like a trivial thing, but it's true. How do you pick and choose where you're okay with assault? I already have a problem with, I looked it up before we came on here. Last week, 20-something people shot in Chicago. We ignore that. We normalize the shootings, the killings, the assaults, the murders, all of that in these big Democrat-run cities where we're supposed to look the other way because that's just crime. We normalize that. We make it okay. So it doesn't bother us as much whenever we hear about it. Same thing here. They're normalizing one man smacking another. And look, if you want to get political about it, this is black on black crime. It's black on black crime just like anything else. You had a black man walk up there, not really provoked, but I guess provoked, and smack the guy in the face. How is that not assault? How are there not charges pressed against this man? My question to you all would be, not in the setting of the Academy Awards or whatever they call the award ceremony that was on last night. I truly don't watch these things. But if you were a legitimate gun owner and you were Chris Rock and you were in a restaurant and you had heaved those words at another man's wife, making fun of her being bald, and he got up and came at you like that, whether he slapped you or was just coming at you like that, would you have shot him? Could you have shot him? Should you have shot him? What would have happened? I'd love to see you guys' feedback. I've got my opinion and I'll share it later in another video, but I'd love to see your comments below.
Let's go, Brandon.